Yeah. We're back in the house once again. It's Sunday afternoon, and man, it's a nice, really nice day today. Traffic is still off the chain. Getting here was a little something, little treacherous, but I got here, and so did Mr. Charles, and so did Dr. Sutton. He's in the house with us as well. But let's get this show started. Got a few things to put out there, but definitely wanted to say a little bit something about the summer camp, which is going really well. It's about to come to an end, but OMOL has had a great summer camp so far, and I can't complain. We're doing some really good things in the community, and we're just glad to have been able to put on a summer camp for another year, and hopefully we'll do that again. So big ups to Mr. Beezer and what he's doing out there with the summer program and the summer camp. So definitely that. And with our kids who are actually working this year to help support the summer camp. So big ups to them and hats off to them as well. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday Spotlight, brought to you by the One More, One Less Mentoring Program. I'm your host/mentor, Mr. Tony Hinton, and joining me today is my co-host and mentor, Mr. Charles Pratt. He's in the house, definitely that, hitting at the Orioles. Yeah, he ready. He ready. They ain't doing too good, but that doesn't matter. You gotta rep your city.
It's the home squad. It's the home squad.
That's right, the home squad. So definitely appreciate you being here. We hope you had a great week. We look forward to getting you started on another good note and leaving you with some things to think about as you embark on this new week. However, before we get started on today's journey, let's give a shout out to OMOL Mentoring Program, which is us. We are the sponsors of the Sunday Spotlight, so take some time to check us out. And let's give a shout out to our guest for today's episode, Dr. Edward Sutton, CEO and founder of Sutton House Vision Incorporated and Ministries of Defense, which focuses on youth community development and positive vibes for the community and the youth. He possesses a master's degree in criminology, specializing in juvenile delinquency prevention, and has a doctorate degree in humanities. How you doing today, Mr. Sutton?
I'm good. And you?
I can't complain, man.
Doing
Can't
well,
complain.
sir.
That's what's up.
Definitely glad you could make it today. I know you got a really busy schedule, but just the fact that you took some time to speak with us, especially with everything that you got going on. I mean, everything. We appreciate you taking some time to hang out with us for an hour and just share your thoughts on today's society.
I will say it's an honor to be here, and just to be even in this position, to be doing things on this side, to be able to make, even if it's just a small difference,
Right.
I want to be able to make a difference.
Absolutely.
I always say history doesn't record that you just existed. It actually records when you do something.
Right, that
So,
hash mark in between your birth and your death.
Yeah,
you definitely want to make a stand
exactly.
out. So definitely want to thank you for being with us today. Now, the Sunday Spotlight is all about addressing the issues our young people are facing today and empowering not only them, but you, the listeners, with the knowledge and resources to build solid foundations and a sense of purpose for not only our young people, but for you as well. And we're serious about our business. The Sunday Spotlight not only talks about the social issues facing our youth, we present the organizations, programs, and the people who are making a positive difference and changing the mindset of our youth and our communities. Not just here in Baltimore City, but throughout the country. Now, every month we have a theme, and our theme for July is called Getting It Done. That's about to end because a new month's coming up, and we'll come up with something even bigger and better. But right now, that's the theme to close out for this month. By making an impact on our youth along with the question of the day. And so that question of the day, it's a little interesting, but a little broad, but we can make it, we'll get into it as we go along. And we want you as the listeners to definitely take heed to the question. So the question of the day is, how do we keep our young people, if possible, off the streets? I know that's a big, broad kind of question, but, there's a lot of things we can do to make that possible, and we have to understand the plight of our youth and what they're going through. But once again, that question is, how do we keep our young people, if possible, off the streets? So think about that question, reflect on it, and if you got an answer, definitely hit us up on our Facebook page or give us a call here at the station at the number below on the screen. So you can definitely do that. However, before we get started on today's show, I want to quickly give a shout out to everyone who makes this show possible, Mr. Ron Beezer and Natalia One More, One Less mentoring program. And, of course, our producer, DJ Big Nick, who's over in the corner chilling.
All right.
And the MIXXSTATION Radio family. So thank you for having us here on the show and allowing us to get our message out to the people. We also want to remind you, this is a live studio broadcast, and we will be streaming on various social media outlets like our own OMOL Facebook page, MIXXSTATION Radio, Instagram, YouTube, and various other social media outlets. So now understand this, we want your input and feedback, so don't be afraid to hit us up and join in on our conversation. You can hit us up directly on our OMOL Facebook page or give us a call here at the station. We would love to hear your voice. Give us a call, get your thoughts in at 1-855-493-6499. Again, that number is 1-855-493-6499. The number is also at the bottom of the page, so definitely hit us up. We would love to get some feedback from you on some of the topics that we're talking about and some of the things that Dr. Sutton is doing out here in the community, and not just the community, but in other states and around the country. So definitely tune in when you can. So here's the breakdown for the show. We start off each episode with a roundtable discussion, and then we go into a break. Once we return, we'll get right back into our guests. From there, depending on how the conversation is flowing, we'll take another short break and close out the show with answers to the question of the day and your thoughts. If not in between, we'll see how it rolls, but we're going to play it by ear. So let's get the show started by starting our round table discussion. And listeners, please feel free to join in our conversation by giving us a call. Once again, that number is 1-855-493-6499. Or leave your comments on our Facebook page. Once again, the number is also at the bottom of the screen, so definitely hit us up. So hopefully everybody's had a good day so far. We're going to go ahead and jump right in it. So one of the questions that I had proposed, and if we want, we can also get into the question of the day as well on this discussion if you like. Why do you feel so many young people are drawn to today's street life, especially when they know the possible consequences? Any thoughts on that? I know it's not too deep, but I mean, it's a lot to it, but any thoughts on that? And I'll start with you, Mr. Sutton, since you're our guest, if you want to chime in, and then Charles, if you want to think about it, see what you come up with. Love to hear your thoughts on that as well. As long as also love to hear the listeners' thoughts on it too, so don't be afraid to call us up or send us a comment. What are your thoughts, Mr. Sutton?
Well, I think it's on different levels. One is that I try to tell people that it didn't take one thing to get a lot of our youth where they are, and it didn't take it, in one day. So it's not going to be fixed with just one situation. It's going to take like wraparound services. We're going to have to mentor parents. We're going to have to build relationships with fathers who may have been out of their lives for a while, may have been incarcerated. We're going to have to help that mother that may have a drug problem or some mental health issues going on. I think that we're talking about now not just our children. We're going to have to bring back our families. So as we always talk about the hood, but we never talk about the neighborhood,
right?
And so we have to bring some of our youth back to certain things, because a lot of them that I deal with, they are very clear about some things. One thing that they say is that that's been consistent is they feel that adults have let them down, and so with that, there's a lack of respect for authority.
Wow.
So you have things that has been challenged on different degrees, and so you have also since the families have been broken down, you're looking for a lot of youth who are really looking for a level of real love, loyalty, and family. And so sometimes the crew, the gangs, your posse, the whole nine, they like, look, check this out, I got your back. You got beef, you call us, the whole nine. I mean, and they see a level of love in a person saying, I'm a sacrifice, and I don't mind having skin in the game. If you got beef, I'm going to throw down with you. And see, and a lot of people know that beefing really is not like how it was. Where you might just come home with a bloody nose. Now, you might lose your life, but people are willing to almost go to a situation where I might lose my life, and people say, you know what, man, that's love. And so and for a person that hasn't seen a blueprint of love, it's hard for them to define what love looks like. And
Right.
and so we have to, we need to celebrate, and I would say real men, and so that they can see them doing real men stuff.
Right.
So
which we
that
don't
they
have
can
enough of.
exactly,
Right.
exactly. And I was telling some young people, I said, look, I said it's sad that you don't see people with we don't celebrate on Facebook, the young man mowing the lawn, to make some money. The young man going door to door saying, can I shovel snow for you? Right. The young man that's saying, look, going around with a bucket saying, look, I'm gonna wash cars today, and and because that's an honest hustle. But you see young Cash, the big glasses, Gucci belt, saying everything, and trying to be like they step straight out of a rap video, but not really understanding that really it's levels to this thing.
Right.
So, at some point you had to have started somewhere. Mm. But it's not, they don't see, that person being celebrated. So you're saying that really, I'll risk everything to be fly for a couple of days. I may get locked up, but I was too good to mow the lawn, to wash that car, to do household chores. But then when I'm in prison, I want to get a job and work for 70 cents a day or maybe 39 cents a day. So we have to really, show them that it's some realness with how this going, what's going on, and then how they're being bamboozled in that.
So do they think that? So most kids feel as though that they're below those type of entrepreneurship or that hustle. They say it's too beneath them.
Right.
Wow. What are your thoughts, Charles? What do you think? he said it all. He said it all. Okay, that's cool. Hey, how do you follow that? I don't know. I don't know either. But
it's rare.
It's rare that Charles is lost for words. I just want to tell y'all that it's rare that he's lost for words.
Well, I'm glad I was here at the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm in on this.
Yeah,
you know?
Right.
It's rare.
Right, brother.
I mean,
right on point.
Wow.
I'm just saying, it's
every point, every facet of that point that he made was 100% true. Mm. They see the flash, they see the perceived glory, and, you know what I'm saying? They see the notoriety, they see the oh, I can get popular off of this. They see all these things, and they're drawn to it. And even further back to his point where he says when they're not being shown the love that they need in the home,
right?
You got to look for it elsewhere. It's kind of like the same thing like with being an adult. We all know as adults what a bad relationship is.
Right.
We know that, okay, this person didn't love me the way I deserve to be loved. Children don't have that. I mean, they don't have that knowledge just yet, especially when it comes to our parents. The parents are loving their children the best way that they know how.
Right, especially
but it may
parent.
not be specifically the way that the child may need to receive love. Right, you understand? Right. So they look for it externally. So man,
and it's unfortunate because we have really normalized a level of dysfunction.
Yes.
So when he say, "Oh man, that's crazy. I was down here and I was seeing all this and that," and I had to tell him like, "This ain't crazy. It's Tuesday."
Yes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
this
just
every
Tuesday.
day.
You know what I'm saying? This is what happens every day. And so so how do you know what's functional if you've never seen it? So what has been dysfunctional just becomes what's functional.
Right, it becomes the norm.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
All right, we got a caller on the line. Caller, go ahead.
Good evening. How y'all doing?
All right, how you?
Good.
I'm doing all right. I met Brother Ted before, man, a few years back. Mm-hmm. I used to lead a mentoring ministry at Empowerment Temple, and him and Brendan came over there.
Yeah, my God.
Spoke to young fellows for me, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I was really appreciative. When I saw on Facebook he's going to be the guest, I had to tune in to hear y'all.
Man, I appreciate that, brother. That's much respect, man. Much respect.
Definitely. You have any thoughts on?
The thing about this brother, is that in spite of his testimony, what I look for is humility in people, strength. So this brother's strong, but this brother's a humble brother, man.
Right.
And I have respect for
Thank you,
anybody, no matter what they go through in life, where they at, who can display some humility. Because nobody knows it all.
That's true.
Right.
That's
And
true.
nobody ain't the answer to everything.
Come on, brother.
And the brother is dedicated. I really appreciate him. I ain't been able to see him. I've been having some health issues. I ain't been able to get out much. I ain't seen him in a while.
Right.
But, I wish the brother continues to continue well. But I'm just really concerned of what you just said. I remember a young man when I was younger. He's about 17 years old. He was murdered. But before he was murdered, he said in front of everybody, he said, when I made good grades, was going to city college, nobody cared enough. They ain't celebrate me. I ain't getting no love.
That's
right.
Girls ain't want to date me. Now that I'm selling drugs, everybody want a piece of me.
Right.
So look how long these boys and young men been hearing that the only way they can be really respected and valued, appreciated, is to be thugged out.
That's right.
Right. Some form of power.
That's been a constant, consistent message for years now.
That's right. They caught the vapors.
So it's hard to turn that around when our manhood, we want to feel powerful, want to feel respected, even at 15 and 16.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And you want to feel appreciated, and you want to just feel like somebody.
Right.
And it's tough,
right.
man, when you see people, wow, being respected.
Right.
You see guys who are going along playing by the rules, not being appreciated on the same level, and not being, our girls will tell you, them girls love them boys stuck out. They love them.
Yeah.
So it goes deeper, man. It goes a lot deeper, as far as our mind.
Right.
But this brother's definitely part of the solution, man. As
Thank
all
you,
three
brother.
of y'all are.
I greatly appreciate
And
it.
I appreciate everything y'all do and y'all presence and the spirit y'all put out there, energy.
Thank y'all so
Well,
much.
thank you so much
Thank you.
for the call. We definitely,
Appreciate it.
like I said, keep tuning in. We got some really good guests coming in, so let everybody know because we're trying to get the word out here about those people who are doing stuff in the community and those programs. So if you are part of the problem, then you need to be a part of the solution.
Yes,
So,
that's right.
so definitely keep tuning
Will
in.
do.
We appreciate that comment.
All right. Thanks, man.
Sure, appreciate y'all.
It's so ironic though because I look at even when I go and speak places and things, now I've had a lot of people know some of my history, and I'm one of the younger people when they wrote the series The Wire. My name was Crazy Ted. So anybody ever Google Dr. Ted, my face will come up. But if they Google Crazy Ted, it's still gonna come up.
Right.
A lot of people knew my godfather, Little Melvin Williams, one of my mentors, Dennis Wise. You know what I'm saying, and the whole nine. But the unfortunate part is when I've gone to speak places, after talking about I have a master's, a bachelor's, doctorate degree, received the National Dr. Martin Luther King Award, have gone around from England to Zimbabwe, South Africa,
Right,
working
the
with some of the
travels.
roughest gangs in the world. I have young people that have wanted to know, well, who was the real Omar and who was the Proposition Joe and did
Right,
you know
these
Bodie
characters.
Barksdale? So I'm telling them different things, and what kind of gun were you known for that you carried?
Right.
And so I had to really put it in perspective to let them know that I only share my past to show a point of reference of how
Right.
far God has brought this person right here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't glorify the streets because really, when I tell the story, I let them know that cost me my girlfriend that died. That cost my best friend that got gunned down and I had to hold his brains in while the paramedics came.
Right.
My godfather got 35 years, and my
All the
lieutenant
negativity around it.
got
Yeah.
caught with a carload of guns and sent the ATF to my house. My church-going parents, who my father marched for Dr. King, was an organizer. Mother worked for Medgar Evers, and here. I'm father also pastored, mother a principal at a school, and I was that middle child that was glorifying the entire other side of what they were trying to direct me to.
Right.
And so it was really something I had to put it in perspective because a lot of times people will talk about, certain things, but they need to tell the truth to let young people make the real decision because they're not telling them what it might cost them.
Right, the
And
consequences.
see, that's
so
the
you're saying they're not
difference.
sharing the consequences
Exactly,
behind those actions and stuff of that nature.
Exactly.
So with that said, let's look at another question. So what are some of the things we can do as parents or as community activists or whatever to help our youth understand the streets and what the true value of it is. You know, what's some things we can do besides having that conversation? Is there anything else we can do to help our kids understand what the street is really about?
Honestly, the only way is the visceral way. I mean, you have to give them the truth. And yes, you may get flashy cars, you may get some money, you may get some clothes, you may get some girls, you may get some boys, you know what I'm saying, whatever. But we also got to show them everything else, like Dr. Sutton was just saying, like the family members lost, the loved ones lost, you know what I'm saying? Like the constant threat and fear of, you know, doing football numbers, you know what I'm saying? Like behind bars, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we can't, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but are we sitting stagnant as parents, or should we be doing more as parents to inform our kids?
Honestly,
or is it on a case by case basis?
Well, I mean, me personally, I think that we could start with one. For me, I think that just being consistent with what you do, because we have to bring a level of authority back to adults and parents, because we've allowed other people to mess up. And it's like when that one counselor messes up, and then he messes up for everybody. That one officer messes up, and then he messes up for everybody. When that one, you know, person, you know, does that. And so reason I say that is because you have a lot of young people who are still looking at you, and they want to know, like, what are you going to do?
Right.
And so, and like for me, I remember I was trying to do my daughter's hair, and it was crazy. I'm trying to get these ballies on, and here I have a doctorate degree, and I could not get this correct with the hair. And it was really bothering me. I'm like, I have a doctorate degree. You know what I'm saying? I done wrote books, you know, and I'm sitting here, but I looked in the mirror with my daughter right in front of me, and I'm in the mirror, and I just looked and I said, now this is gangster.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got
We got to say, you know what I'm saying, when you take your children to school, that's gangster. You know what I'm saying? When I come home with groceries as a man, that make me feel good. Especially when my baby boy come up, you got something for me, daddy? Yeah, got something for you, boss man. You know, that's gangster. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, so we have to really redefine the narrative of what so-called going hard is. Or what gangster is, or what holding it down for is. And because, see, what has happened is we have allowed a level of social media to be reality for some of our youth, and real life be fantasy for them. Because, see, what happens is, as they watch certain movies, as they watch certain things, if nobody can help decipher and define what they're watching, they're just using it as they making their own deception.
Yeah, to build their own character.
And what they end up doing, they end up feeling that certain things that they're watching is real. So when you see the guy that is doing a video and you see all these chains, you don't know that it's fake jewelry. He rented the car. You know what I'm saying? You know, he just rented the house. You know, I mean, they did a whole special about the people on Cribs. That was the MTV Cribs.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they was like, and all of them wasn't their houses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they going through, these are my 18 cars and these, and you know, fantasy. it's like
selling
you know
you
what?
The fantasy.
You know what they said? They said the person who did the real one was Redman. And they let him come in and be like,
in his house
with the broken screen door.
Right.
But you know what?
I cereal on top of the refrigerator.
I remember that one.
Because people have to be able to decipher the difference between reality and fantasy. And because of our children, social media has become so much of a part of their life that it has blurred the lines.
Right. And we talked about this last week.
The lines have been blurred.
We talked about this last week about how do we define the realness and the fantasy between social media, and if our kids are getting too involved with social media and making that the norm. We had that question on there, so it's some interesting questions. You got to watch that show, but definitely we understand that piece. I think a lot of kids are making social media that like the truth, instead of doing the research behind it to see what's what. But you know, I still think it takes us as parents to sit down and define what social media is, what the streets are, what the consequences may be, and stuff like that. And we need to redevelop men in general, what their role is, you know, what they're supposed to be doing, you know, because a lot of them have lost sight because they didn't never have a man in their life in the first place. Being raised by a single mom and not understanding the whole purpose behind manhood and why we do what we do and what our true role is. And until we do that, we're going to have a generation of lost youth. That's both girl and boy.
And the thing is, you know, like especially for the ones like our age and above, you know, the ones who didn't have that, we had to learn it from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? We're still, you know what I'm saying? Like I always say, like, you know, if you consider yourself, I'm finished learning what it is to be a man.
You ain't never finished.
You ain't never finished.
You ain't never finished.
Like you're missing the boat. You know what I'm saying? Because it's an ever evolving thing. You know, you're always trying to get to that next better version of yourself.
Right.
You know, so.
But if they don't understand that goal, if they don't know that that's the goal to continue to build, prosper.
And that's where that's the onus that's on us. Like we need to own that.
We need to be better.
We need to be better as far as like getting that word out, you know what I'm saying?
And being role models.
And being role models.
Which we don't have enough of.
And you also have to remember that with a lot of our young people today, you have to earn the right to discipline them.
That's
true. You see, you can't just have a person.
True.
I've seen people when somebody come to the church be like, yeah, you know what? I saw some couple young men with their pants hanging down. I told man, pull your pants up, and I was just like, well, you're telling them what not to do.
But you do tell them
but
why.
What are you telling them the blueprint on what to do?
Right.
And then trying to show them. And I was like, but I know this. Them young guys that I deal with and some of them gang members and different things of that nature, you know, when I've dealt with them, I have already, by the time I'm disciplining them, I have probably went to court with them. I've probably talked to the probation officer, let them know who I am. They done probably had to do some hours with me, you know, in the whole nine.
Right, you've already established a relationship with them at that point.
When they had beef, they done called me, and I'm like trying to, you know, get them to calm down. Because a lot of times, if they call me, you don't want to kill the guy. Now, when you call a little Day Black, you know what I'm saying, the whole nine, you know what I'm saying, you already know they're going to co-sign on your foolishness. Yeah. But something that my godfather used to always tell me, he said, you know, whenever you're dealing with a fool, anything that goes wrong is your fault. And that statement helped me. He said, and what I need for you to do is never make a decision out of anger.
Right. Yes,
and that right there helped change me to, you know, just as far as the beefing part. Because, in fact, that's why right now I love playing chess, and my 7-year-old plays chess. I have my children playing chess because I want them to be
proactive,
different things.
Yes. Strategic.
I want them to
see. You have to understand that, you know, that whole thing is not like checkers. It's not one move at a time. You better understand. You might beat this person, but his uncle is part of the mob, or you know what I'm saying. Or he got two cousins that's two cousins removed. You know what I'm saying? Who put in work like that, and so you have to understand that it's levels to this thing.
Right. You got to think ahead. Exactly, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 steps ahead. And what those consequences may be.
Right.
And that's one of the things we're not teaching, and we probably should. Do you think there's anything else that we should be doing as parents?
Well,
besides those conversations, should we be like, there used to be a show called Scared Straight, and all that stuff like that. I mean, I'm not sure how real that was, but
I mean, okay, so
should we be giving them examples of what it could be if you do that? I don't know
if that's as effective as it once was. I mean, because
at this point
you're doing it to instill fear.
Is it fear?
I mean,
for them to understand.
No,
I don't think it's fear.
That's what it creates.
It's supposed to open their eyes.
Now, I agree with you. It creates.
It's supposed to open their eyes, like Dr. Sutton just said. But they did it in such a way where it's more trauma than it is helpful. Right. You know what I'm saying, Nick? You got a point?
I'm gonna say this. How can you scare somebody straight when they already scared?
Come on, brother.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
the
life
what I'm
that
they living, they already living a
They
scary
already
life. They have
yes,
no fear.
Yes, they walking around with all the bravado and all of the machismo, you know what I'm saying, gas all on their chest, you know what I'm saying, hype. But in their quiet moments, you don't know their fear. You don't know their quiet. You don't know what traumas they already gone through.
Right.
So you take this person who is faking the funk, playing 50, you know what I'm saying, and and has this macho kind of way of thinking, like, okay, well, or they present themselves in that manner, and you put them in a situation where there are real people who have real
have put in some work. So
really
those
put
who've
in
done
some
some
work.
stuff, right? Yeah.
And then you expect this child to be like, okay, I'm never going to do that again. Yes, I'm not saying it does not help, but it.
You think it's traumatizing?
It's more traumatizing than it's helpful.
Part of the problem is it's designed to tear you down.
Yeah.
The thing
It's
is
not
that I don't
building
see
them
as
up.
much building them back.
Yeah.
See, after you tear them down, there should be some compassion. There should be some empathy. There should be some love. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they get yelled at home.
Right.
They got somebody like,
That's
boy, you
what
know
I'm
what?
saying.
I'll break your neck if that teacher call me again.
That's
you know
what I'm saying.
They get that enough.
They get that enough.
True.
And then you throw them in front of 20. You throw them in front of 20 grown men who, you know, are barking at them, yelling at them, telling them all the stuff that they're going to do.
But at the end,
either they're going to be
what?
Either they're going to be not phased by it, because like Dr. Sutton said, they're already gone through it already. You know what I'm saying?
They've been desensitized.
They've been desensitized.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
Thank you. And or they're going to be so broken that you can't. It's like that negative reinforcement. Sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. And that right there, it kind of forces them into that livelihood, because now they're looking at it like, well, shit, I'm not as hard as as I'm supposed to.
I gotta
be harder now.
You got to understand, when you remove hope from people, you have created the perfect criminal, a person with nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? In fact,
Great
to be honest with you,
Great point.
In my book, Temporarily Insane, and the other one, From Pain to Power, I put a specific time on when I changed, and it was my grandmother died. And I ended up, I was numb. I was taught I'm supposed to be hard, never cry.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I got a call saying somebody was being disrespectful. Some of my peoples. I left the funeral procession with family members from New Orleans in the car with me.
Wow.
And drove up to the area near Hilltop where my godbrother, was. Got out the car and saw the guy walk straight over to him and smacked him right in the side of his face with a sawed-off shotgun, and stood over him and said, I hope I don't have to have this conversation with you again.
Wow.
And I defined that as that was the day that Crazy Ted was born.
Wow.
When my grandmother, by me being the middle child, never feeling I was the chosen one.
Right.
I felt my older brother always was the golden child. Why you can't be like him? My younger brother was always the baby.
All the attention.
And so I ended up actually, just hanging with a crew, and I just wanted to. I was happy that somebody wanted me to be a part of.
Right. That was that
what I'm
piece
saying?
that you were missing. That's what you were missing. Right.
That's what I was missing. But that other piece, that was in middle school. You got to understand, the highest gang recruitment is in middle school.
Yeah.
So, middle school is where you really got to go hard and try to make sure you keep them connected. Because once they get on, I'm just going to play these games. I just always going to have the earphones in. And then now there's no connection.
Right.
So you ain't had time for them when they was younger. Now that you a little bit more settled, now you want to go get ice cream. Man, I'm too old to get ice cream.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
that.
Yeah, you got to get them while they're young.
I ain't got no time for you. And then you have mothers who won't let their fathers even see the son.
Yeah, that part.
Because they beefing with them, whatever, which is insane.
Right.
And so the whole nine, but I look at that, I actually hooked up with that crew when some guys walked past my tray, and they took the 3-punch butter crunch cookies.
You take a butter crunch?
I'm sorry, I'm going gangster for my butter crunch. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go off myself. You know
and
what
I
I'm
was
talking
just like, I know he ain't just do that. And I stood up and I was like, yo, check this out. You gonna have to, come at me. I'll take all of y'all on. In fact, you gonna have to kill me now. In hindsight, I think it was probably a little bit overkill for the 3 butter crunch cookies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's where I ended up got chosen, because they was like, yo, this dude either don't know who we are or he crazy. And they ain't try to bank me. They was just like, yo, we want you to roll with us. And really, I just didn't know who they were. And it turned out they were some of the same people that they ended up writing the series, The Wire Behind. And the whole nine. So, in middle school, I knew how to be in a stolen car. I knew how to be, a dent puller and this, that, and the third. And they wasn't doing no riding around with it. You know what I'm saying? They took it to a chop shop, got their money, and they did their thing. And so I ended up actually getting caught up, having good parents. But I realized something early, is that adults can't protect me. And that was on, so with having good parents who had values, I only spend 2 hours with y'all before I go to school, an hour, you know what I'm saying? When I'm home from school, I'm with you about, you know what I'm saying, maybe 2.5 hours, you know what I'm saying, before it's time to go to bed or whatever the situation is. I'm with these cats about 9-10 hours a day. And
Right.
so, and then, so I'm like, so when you go to work, when I walk to school, you can't protect me. When
Right.
I'm coming home, you definitely can't protect me. I was like, and the cats in school can't protect me in school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you have to make a choice, and I saw people getting stuffed in lockers and they didn't look comfortable in there.
Right.
If I had to make
I'm
a
quite
choice
sure.
to be a predator or to be prey, I was going to
Gonna
be a predator.
of
Right.
course.
Right.
Because just like I said, that locker
you were
was
put in
small.
that situation. Yeah,
Yes,
and
I
you
didn't
saw
wanna
it. You
fit-
didn't
I
want to
wanna
be
get
one
in
of
that
them.
locker. I wasn't getting in there.
Absolutely.
I wasn't feeling that.
Right.
Look, hey, I don't know where y'all at, but this conversation is all over the place. I mean, but it's good. It's good. It's reflective. It's understandable. You guys need to get in on this conversation. Right now, we're going to go ahead and take a little break real quick, and then we're going to get into Dr. Sutton and his program and what he's doing with his foundation and defense ministry. So we'll be right back with the Sunday Spotlight.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm doing okay. And there's no check over there.
Lift my hands up, I wanna praise you.
All right. So we're back real quick. Great conversation. A lot going on, a lot to think about. If you're not involved, you need to get involved. The number's at the bottom of the screen, or if you want, leave your comments on the Facebook page, our Facebook page, OMOL. Definitely get in on this conversation. I mean, we're going deep here with Dr. Sutton. He's got a lot to say, and he's seen a lot. He's seen a lot, and he's been involved in a lot, and his story is real. It is definitely real, and it's a lot of what youth are going through right now to try to define themselves. So he's been there, he's out of that game, and he's trying to reconstruct the way we think in the mindset of our youth. So I'm going to start right now with you. Tell us a little bit about the Sutton House Vision Foundation and what you guys are doing.
Okay, well, real quick, Sutton House was kind of founded out of me just seeing some young men who were aging out of foster care, and then they ended up becoming homeless. And I wanted to know, how are you in foster care? Meaning that foster care is supposed to be like your parents until,
right,
you get on your feet. And then I found that independent living program was really for children who played by the rules. So if you had been somebody who had gotten in trouble in different things or ran away in things, you might not get into, independent living. And if you had a father that was incarcerated, mother that was on drugs, you had nowhere to go. And so I ended up getting a house and started that, working with young men. And then the culture just turned into working with young men who were in gangs, and I started trying to help them out in different things of that nature. So I'm also over the People Can Change youth movement, and that's where we're trying to put out a strong message in different places in the country, but we want to do it real big here in Baltimore. We want to do it in Detroit, Pittsburgh, Atlanta, Philly, and Chester. But when we come here, we want to do it real big. And then also, I started something called Men Against Murder, and that was pulling together, some people. One of my mentors, I have a lot of respect for him, named Dennis Wise.
Okay, yeah.
I had talked with him, and he actually was right there in support of what I was doing as far as with that, and some other people, and so it was really something. So I do the motivational speaking. I'm also anti-gang intervention.
You wearing a lot of hats.
Do with that. You know what I'm saying? I also got certified in community organizing by a man named Arnie Graff, who was Barack Obama's mentor. So I went to Chicago and I got, certified, to be able to learn some different things about how you pull different things together in the community. And I've also tried to train and help some pastors, and who have churches, so that they could be able to connect with the actual communities that they actually have their church at. I found that a lot of churches, for some reason, they have more people who are outside of the community coming to their church as opposed to where they are in the church. And we have to really show that we, are here to make a difference and different things of that nature. So that's kind of summing it up real quick. I tried.
It's all good.
I tried. In fact, I'm also a consultant for the show Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
And,
my favorite shows.
I wrote the book Temporarily Insane.
Yes.
Another one called From Pain to Power. And there's a movie being done on my life called All of a Sudden, like my last name Sutton.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, okay. Damn. That's too much.
I part. Yeah,
that's a whole lot right there. That's a whole lot.
Right.
With these different organizations that you created, have you had a lot of challenges with getting them started and getting people connected?
Well, I would say that I feel that I've been blessed. I know that this is the population that most people really are not eager to want to deal with. In fact, when I was doing something with the school system and I took the high risk list from some of the most challenging schools here in Baltimore, and then I turned it into the high expectation list. So I asked for the principals to give me 25 of the students that the teachers don't even want them in their class, and let me work with them during their lunch and every day and different things of that nature. And I found, to help redefine the culture, I had to get a lot of the ones who the students actually look up to. And the majority of the time, they're not looking up to the one that was on the honor roll and that's in the choir and
the ones that's doing
usher in the church,
right? The positive stuff.
But the ones that really, they look like they shine, and I'm just like, and so I don't want you to stop being a hustler. I want you to change the product.
There you go.
I want you to be. I want you to understand, the effect that you make, and because I realized that with at the right time with the right words, you could change the trajectory of what was going to happen. So one word that nah, man, yo, leave that civilian alone. Yo, you don't get no points off of him. That man ain't get jumped because you just said something in a cool way.
Right.
To be like, man, you don't get no points off of messing with a civilian, man. 8 dudes banging somebody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, come on, man. Get real.
Right, right.
But you were able to change what was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And be like, nah, yo, he look like he about that work, man. Don't mess with this dude. I know he by himself, but I'm telling you, I look like this dude pagging, and he look like he is about that work. And you can stop somebody from doing something stupid by just, you know, giving a little bit of wisdom, man, and letting them know. And you not do it in no uncool way. You know how they got this slogan, just say no to drugs. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man, that don't work over here. You know what I'm saying? Say no, I got some already. You know, I mean, so we have to empower our children so that they know it's cool to put your hand up and say, I know the answer.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We need to empower our children so you ain't ashamed to say you go to church or that you doing something positive or I'm going to study for the SAT test. Or actually, man, I heard about a school called Fisk University and I think I may want to go there. Man, I actually heard of one called Howard University.
Right.
And I think I may want to go there. And so the thing is that they have to see that there's life beyond mistakes. And we could actually change what was going on because a lot of the gang members and stuff that I talked to, be it England, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Chicago, Compton, you know, California, Miami, all of this. Every last one that I have talked to when I had this conversation said the exact same thing. And I had a couple saying it with tears in their eyes, and they was like, yo, big homie, check this out. They was like, if I could just provide for my daughter and be in a safe environment where I don't have to carry no heat. He was like, yo, I will walk away from this whole life. He was like, but I don't know nothing else. And it's sad because he just saying if I just was somewhere that was safe.
Out of the environment,
and I want to work and I want to provide. So you talking about a BMW, a black man working. You know what I'm saying? You talking about everybody wants a BMW. Right. You know what I'm saying? You know, women want a BMW.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely. A black man working. And so if you can can get them on that mind frame to think that I might live past 22, I might live. See, you know what? Out of all the places that I've spoken, the White House, you know, saying Congress, you know, speaking over in Parliament in England, do you know the most significant places when I had the opportunity to speak at my high school?
Right.
Where the principal had placed a bet I wouldn't make it to 21, and the counselor said I shouldn't attempt to go to college, and I ended up coming back as the keynote speaker with my master's degree, working on my doctorate degree. Excellent. In fact, it was so ironic. Check this out. This is the part that gets funny. You know what I'm saying? They sat Congressman Elijah Cummings, like next to me, and he was bringing an award. And he looked at me, and then he looked at me again, and then he looked at the program. And he saw my name. He said, man, you have to tell me what you've been doing. And I said, yes. I said, I will, sir. And I said, because the last time we were sitting next to each other, this was not the situation. Because he was actually my lawyer.
Oh, he was your lawyer?
Oh, what? The last time that we were sitting next to each other, he was defending me. Wow. You know what I'm saying? So for me to have gone from that to be the keynote speaker, and my message was, you're not trash, you're just tarnished.
Wow.
Nice.
So I needed them to know that, like the genie in the lamp, if just one person could believe in you, you know, you can let that person come out, the real you, and we can help change this world.
Excellent, man. That's deep. That's deep, and the stuff that you've gone through in order to become where you are, man. That's a lot. That's definitely a lot, man. Jesus Christ, I don't know what else I can really ask you. I mean, you kind of answering all the questions. In some sense, okay. Tell me a little bit about Defense Ministries and what they're doing and what you're doing with that group. What's going on with them?
Well, actually, I will say this. One thing that I actually started was the Ministers of Defense.
And the men, you said the men's
Men Against Murder.
Yes.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I'll tell you this. You know, what I saw is that civilians were kind of like being penalized for not being so-called hood or gangster. And so you had people who, okay, like to give an example, a man came home, his daughter was like, look, you know, the dude next door smacked me, you know what I'm saying, you know, my butt and different things. And he was heated, but he went over there and talked to him. And he said, look, man, I ain't for all this dumb stuff, man. He said, I just appreciate you just leave, you know, mine alone, this, that, and the third. He a working man. Man, you know what? They came back, they set a trash can on fire on his porch. And then he called the police. They over there on the porch laughing. He said, well, if you ain't see him do it, it's nothing we can do. They came back and things, right, and they ended up breaking in his house, you know, and the whole not's trash in the place. And the police said, you know, once again, well, you know, you don't know who did it, so it's nothing we can do. And they over there laughing, right? So the thing is, the guy was actually, when I heard about it, he was staying in his car with his family. And because he was in a hotel, couldn't afford to stay in a hotel no more, they had trashed his house. And so, and I'm gonna tell you, man, I was so heated. I think that I was saying, don't revert backwards. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go crazy tan for a minute.
Right.
I mean, but it bothered me because I don't like bullies.
Right.
And see, and so the thing is that sometimes, man, I don't think that you should be penalized because, you know what I'm saying, you ain't claiming to be a gangster.
Right.
You know, all day. I'm claiming to be I'm a real man. I'm a husband.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or I'm a working man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And to me, you know, that really bothered me. And so what I wanted was a man support base to be able to come and just support you. Not necessarily coming there to
ratify something
on everybody
or
else's children,
physical changes.
But they need to know that it's a level of support and it's not me calling 911 to do it.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? We
It's
have
the
to actually
Right.
take back our communities.
The community.
And the unfortunate part is a lot of them only respect strength. So if you come in there and they feel that you soft or weak, they not going to respect that. When the riots had kicked off or the uprising kicked off, I actually was yelling. I got footage on. I'm going to have to show it to you later. I'm yelling for men to come out of their houses and go into the streets with me. I got 12 men to go in there with me. We ended up saving the man's life that owned the store on the corner of North and Fulton because he was beaten up. Blood was coming out of his head.
Yeah, I remember
you know,
that.
The whole nine.
I
I ended up helping to save his life. The paramedics came. They got scared, left him there. We had to have the family to call the riot vehicle, the tank.
Yeah.
Right.
They came in there. We helped put the man in the van, you know, in the truck, you know, in the whole nine. We helped another lady who had just drove into the uprising, didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
She was just coming home from work.
Wow.
You know, we helped her out. I helped the man who got dragged out of his Mercedes, the one that they burned right there. In the corner. We helped. You know,
I remember that.
And you know, and then I was like, oh man, I gotta check on Mel. And I was like, come on. And then I hooked up with one of my friends. He was some Q dogs, and they hooked up with us.
Right.
So I had 12 guys in this. I think it's so ironic that 12 men followed me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They were like my disciples
Like
out
Jesus.
there. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so
Right.
we running down the street, and I got the little Melvin spot, and I was just tripping. I just seen him with his hands in his pocket standing out there, and I was like, you good, Black? You good, Mel? And he was like, oh, I'm good. And I saw that they had burned everything coming down to his block.
Right.
But then when they got to his street,
block.
they went across the street and burned the hair salon and the sub shop across, but they ain't touched nothing on his side. And then they picked up on the other side of the street, you know, where his side
and left
was.
him alone.
Ain't nobody ain't touched little Melvin. I was actually talking to one of the Bloods, and I was like, why was it? He was like, yo, don't get it twisted. He said somebody was in the crowd saying, look, that's not what you want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Somebody was in the crowd. But I thought it was so ironic that they respected.
A gangster.
Right.
They respected that this man, you know, had done something, and we don't want to step on that.
Right.
And so I saw that there's even in chaos, there's a level
Of respect
of respect. And see, because I tell people that a wise man can play the fool, but a fool can never play the wise man.
How about it?
And so in that situation, you know, I let them know. In fact, it's a series that I actually even talk on that's called Your Success Starts Where Your Comfort Zone Ends.
That's
right.
So we have to actually
Nice.
to help some of these people, and we may have to help them until it gets uncomfortable
Absolutely.
for us. We're going to have to do some things different.
So Charles, you got a question? You
Well,
saying?
yeah,
Or
one of our viewers have been. I guess this was probably close to the earlier conversation, but he asked, "What circumstances would we consider to be a reason for a lawful search without violating anyone's rights?"
A lawful search.
Well,
talking about
okay.
false
Well, I will
police.
tell you like this. One is that's how I got into going to school. I said that how could I be a criminal if I don't know the laws? And I started studying laws. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing is that the case of Terry versus Ohio states that with probable cause, they can do an outward pat down frisk.
Right.
It's only to feel for a weapon.
Right.
You know,
But
and that's
it.
supposed to be for safety. You know what I'm saying? But they are not, and I would say never fight them as far as to get into it. I would say just I don't consent to it. I don't consent to a search of my car. I don't consent. And even when they read you your right, I mean, for me, I always like, well, look, I don't even understand everything that you said. I think I need my lawyer.
Exactly.
Right.
That's how I feel.
That's the first thing you
I
say,
don't
lawyer.
I don't have nothing.
Lawyer.
Actually, Lil Melvin used to tell me they build their case off of what you tell them.
said.
So,
Exactly.
for me, I mean, I don't know anything. All I know is I need to talk to my lawyer.
Right.
And so, but I would say, with certain things, that with the probable cause, they actually could, do an outward pat down frisk to kind of like only feeling for a
like
weapon.
you
So if
said
something
earlier,
felt like
right.
a gun, something felt like a knife, that's something different. You know what I'm saying? If something felt like pills or a blunt or something like that would be an illegal search and seizure because you
But
didn't
it's
give
only a
them-
pat down. It's not going into their pockets and all
not
that other
turning
thing.
no pockets out,
Right.
not turning no other stuff out, and different things, And I found that there are some officers that don't know the law, some of themselves.
Most of
and
them
it's
don't.
an unfortunate
They just
situation
go about their
because
business,
the officers are it's like they don't understand that they are actually working in our community. So when you come up saying get the F off my corner, get the I feel that the person that's down there on North and Pulaski should get the same respect that a person in Columbia, Maryland will receive. And you should say, yes, sir, no, sir. Even if you feel they ratchet, even if you feel he's intoxicated, even if you feel I know him, I lock him up all the time.
You're
you
a public
say, sir,
servant.
yes, sir,
Right.
no,
Your
sir.
role
You know
is
what, sir?
different.
Can you step to the side? And there should be a level of
Respect.
professionalism no
Right.
matter what.
You are a public servant.
Right.
Working for me.
You working
Exactly.
for us.
You work
Exactly.
for us. You work for me.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. You got anything else, Charles? You got anything
That's
else?
it for right now.
Well,
Okay. Cool.
I got
cool.
something for you then.
Talk to me.
Okay. Yeah.
All
What
right.
you got?
It's you know what? It's a little bit like this. I sit back and reminisce about some of my old days. Deep as the abyss in a lot of crazy ways. See, I didn't used to be the goody two shoe. I was a yo with my crew, but now I'm new, boo. But when you think about it, we didn't talk about it. Me and my crew back then, we was bout it. And I really don't know how I even made it this far when I sit back and think it's bizarre. But I guess the Lord must have been checking me. In fact, the Lord must have been blessing me to allow those bullets to go around me so this G can see another day be. So now it's my job to get back to the community. It's like having diplomatic immunity. This evil world is nothing they can do to me. And Armageddon, you better know it's soon to be. I'm not a rapper talking about a wear Versace's or Hirachis. That kind of stuff don't got me. So as I rock G, go ahead and give God props G before I jet G, just like a jet ski. What?
Whoa, there it is. You heard it.
He came
You
with the
heard it.
Where them claps
Right
at?
off
Where
the
them
top of
claps
the
at? Where them
dome.
claps
Right
at,
off the
baby?
top
Come
of the
on now.
dome. Right off the top of the dome. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking
yeah.
about. Right there.
That's what's
So
up.
real quick, Dr. Sutton, real quick, if people want to find out more about you and the Sutton House Vision and some of the programs that you're doing, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, my website is SuttonHouseVision.com. That's SuttonHouseVision.com. I'm on Instagram as Sutton House Vision. And also I'm on Facebook as Dr. Ted Sutton or Edward Sutton. Dr. Ted Sutton or Edward Sutton. And I would love to talk to, some people who maybe have some issues with their youth, their grandsons, the ones that they are being a caretaker for. Because I feel if they're still alive, there's still hope.
Absolutely. And you heard it. There it is right there, Dr. Sutton. Man, we once again, I said we can't thank you enough for taking some time to come down here and be on this show. We really appreciate it. We want to have to bring you back
Thank you.
Because there's a lot more to discuss, and there's a lot more things that you're doing, and we want to make sure that people understand what you're doing in the communities, what you're doing for our youth, and the various contacts and people that you know where if you can't help them, maybe that other resource can.
Right.
So definitely want to get you back on the show, and we'll talk offline on that one.
Okay.
So and with that said, Charles, you got anything?
I'm good, brother.
DJ Nick, you got anything, man? You good?
Yeah.
It's not too much. That's kind of like dropping a mic right there. It's not much.
I'm not following that.
Can't follow it. Right. We're pretty much done on that.
That's what's up, man.
So with that said, we've come to the conclusion of the Sunday Spotlight. We want to thank our special guest, Dr. Edward Sutton of the Sutton Vision House Foundation, along with DJ Big Nick and Mix Station Radio family for holding a one less mentoring program down, along with the Sunday Spotlight.
That's what's up.
And last but not least, we want to thank you, the listeners, for taking some time to tune in to the Sunday Spotlight radio show. If you would like to learn a little bit more about the Sunday Spotlight and possibly even be a sponsor of the Sunday Spotlight, definitely hit us up. You can check us out on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/OMOL Mentoring or visit our website at omolmentoring.org. And like I said, if you want to be a sponsor or you want your brand out there, definitely hit us up. We have a great sponsor packages for you to get information out there about your brand and support that piece. Like I said, if you got $1, we'll take that. You know, if that's all you can donate, we're fine. You know, if you got something big, we got a program for that too. And like I said, we can't do enough for you. Just got to let us know that you want to get or want to be a sponsor of the program, and we will hook you up. Definitely on that end. We're currently looking for donations to cover the cost of our travel and summer camp trips. Yes. Like I said, we are doing a summer camp. That's almost done, but we've been very successful with getting money out there for those particular programs and trips. So definitely if you want to donate on that level, that'll be great. Once again, we are a 501c3 organization. We have multiple sponsor packages, packages to accommodate any budget, and any donations you give is a tax write-off for your business or your brand. So give us a call today at 443-562-7455, and let's get started on promoting your brand and supporting our summer camp and your business. So with that said, if everything is wrapped up, Charles doesn't have anything. Like I said, we don't drop the mic. Dr. Sunday ended it on a good note. So definitely want to appreciate, like I said, we appreciate you coming in. So once again, we want to thank the listeners for tuning in to the Sunday Spotlight. And remember, stay focused. And whenever you can, help our young people reach for the stars. Good night.
Good night. I was going across the land like a new